Republican National Convention may have ended with a literal bang, fireworks spelling out Trump 2020, on Thursday last week, but according to a new post-convention ABC News Ipsos poll, President Donald Trump isn't getting much of a convention bounce, at least when it comes to his approval rating. Historically, presidential candidates see notable, though frequently ephemeral, increases in their polling following their party's conventions. For instance, in 2016, Gallup found Trump's approval rating rose about 5 percentage points following the GOP convention, before falling ahead of the election. However, this year, Ipsos pollsters found Trump's overall approval rating to be essentially the same as it was ahead of the GOP's convention, falling 1 percentage point from the previous week to 31%. The poll, taken from August 28 to 29, also found Americans were not won over by the convention's message, with 59% of Americans disapproving of the content of the RNC's 4 nights of programming, versus the 37% who approved. Overall, 48% of Americans reported that they watched, slightly less than the 50% who said they tuned in for the Democratic National Convention the week prior. Throughout his presidency, Trump has not enjoyed particularly high favorability ratings, although he has maintained strong Republican support. His numbers, however, have been largely durable, and these most recent numbers, while a bit lower than the average tabulated by 538, reflect that stability. Setting aside Trump's favorability rating, by no means a perfect cipher for actual support, of perhaps greater concern for the president is that his polling deficit against Democratic nominee Joe Biden has remained all but static in 538's national polling average in recent weeks, from August 22, the Saturday after the DNC, to August 29, the Saturday after the RNC. Biden's lead has barely changed, moving from 8.8 percentage points to 8.6 percentage points. Pollsters are still collecting data to determine whether the convention altered any voter preferences, but that gap is a reminder how beneficial a post-convention polling bounce with respect to who voters plan to cast their ballots for would be to his campaign. As 538's Jeffrey Skelly pointed out, as far back as early July this year, there are plenty of questions about whether the importance of the convention bounce is fading as the American electorate grows increasingly polarized. This year's virtual conventions, absent much of the usual pageantry seen in a normal presidential year, could also have dampened some of the factors behind past bounces. But, with respect to approval, the no-bounce theory doesn't necessarily square with what the ABC News Ipsos poll shows for Biden. While Trump's favorability is sliding, Biden's has ticked steadily upward in August. The former vice president now stands at 46% according to ABC News and Ipsos, with 40% disapproval. Democratic vice presidential nominee Senator Kamala Harris has fared ever better, vaulting from just 35% favorability when she was announced as Biden's VP pick on August 11, to 43% in the most recent poll, and while Biden banked a 7 percentage point increase in his favorability among Democrats, according to ABC's Kendall Carson, Trump's favorability with Republicans fell by 4 percentage points post-convention. If spree of Sunday morning retweets are anything to go by, however, Trump is a believer in the bounce, and in the ABC/Ipsos results being an outlier, the president boosted tweets and analysis from right-wing Twitter account at PollWatch 2020 more than 20 times, including polls from the Democracy Institute and the Trafalgar Group showing him winning nationally and in key swing states. There's plenty of reason to be doubtful of those numbers, though. The Trafalgar Group gets a C in 538's pollster ratings, and the Democracy Institute isn't even listed. Also of concern is the fact both groups' numbers fly in the face of just about everything else out there. In Michigan, for example, Biden's average lead stands at 7.1 percentage points, and that includes the Trafalgar poll that shows Trump winning. In fact, Trafalgar has the only 538 recognized poll this month to show Trump winning by any margin in the state. This isn't the first time Trump has rejected reality as presented by reputable pollsters. In June, his campaign sent a cease and desist letter to CNN after the network published a poll showing Trump losing to Biden. CNN brushed off the complaint as factually and legally baseless and yet another bad faith attempt by the campaign to threaten litigation to muzzle speech it does not want voters to read or hear. But trying to quash polls that don't look good for your campaign isn't a great re-election strategy, especially when most of the polls are in consistent agreement. In the key swing states of Arizona, Florida, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, Biden still retains a lead, one mirrored in national polls. Polls are, as Vox's Lee Joe has noted, a portrait of a moment in time. But with less than 70 days until the election, Trump has limited time to change public opinion if he wants to serve a second term. Help keep Vox free for all. Millions turn to Vox each month to understand what's happening in the news, from the coronavirus crisis to a racial reckoning to what is, quite possibly, the most consequential presidential election of our lifetimes. Our mission has never been more vital than it is in this moment, to empower you through understanding. But our distinctive brand of explanatory journalism takes resources, particularly during a pandemic and an economic downturn. Even when the economy and the news advertising market recovers, your support will be a critical part of sustaining our resource-intensive work, and helping everyone make sense of an increasingly chaotic world. Contribute today from as little as $3. Let's block ads. Why?
Show your love for him. Click the link in description. Thanks for watching.